Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight for Burnt Out to Turned Up. My name is Brittany, and I am one of the info librarians at the Arlington Heights Library, where I specialize in jobs and careers. And now I'm delighted to introduce tonight's presenter, Jocelyn Toll. So I stumbled upon Jocelyn's presentation on Boston University's website. So after overcoming her own experience with emotional burnout and applying her integrative nutritional health coaching education, Jocelyn launched her wellness coaching business to help professionals overcome the emotional fatigue from unhealthy relationships, toxic work environments, or lack of purpose. And with that, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Jocelyn.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Brittany, so much for the intro. I'm so excited to be here and be in front of everyone today, this evening. So as Brittany mentioned, my name is Jocelyn, and today's presentation is called, Burned Out to Turned Up, right? How to overcome burnout and become a boss in not just work, but also in your life. So as Brittany shared, I am a certified integrative nutrition health coach, and I specialize in burnout prevention and burnout recovery. So just before I get started, I would love everyone here to actually open the chat box and share your name, where you're based. I know everyone's kind of in around the Chicago area, but please share your location, your name, and let's say one other thing about you. And if you are comfortable sharing one fun fact about you, that would be wonderful. But if you could just open the chat and at least share your name and where you're based, your home location, that would be wonderful. I would love to just know where everyone's joining us from. Myself, I'm actually based right now in San Francisco. So it's a little rainy and drizzly out there, but maybe I know Brittany said that it's expected to snow where she is based. So I think it's just different kind of precipitation. Rain over here, snow over there. Hello, Chrissy. Hello, Sandra. And Nancy. Ooh, Arlington is wonderful. And Giuseppe, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. Giuseppe, wonderful to meet all of you. Thank you so much for contributing. And yes, everyone from Arlington Heights, great. Hello, Carol and Michael. Wonderful to meet all of you. Thank you so much for sharing and commenting. And I see we have another one. Anne-Marie, great. Hello, everyone. So first and foremost, kind of to get us started for today, is I know that Brittany already shared that this will be shared through social media, but I just want everyone here, a little bit of housekeeping, please do not share or reproduce any of this content without explicit written permission from my behalf. So just a little, I know no one's going to do that here, but just wanted to share that this has been exclusively made for everyone here. And so please just respect that. Thank you. So now let's get us going with this workshop and understand really first and foremost who this workshop is for, right? So first and foremost, this workshop is for those of you here who are open to thinking about your life in a whole new way. And you really care about, personal development and bettering yourself. And you're willing to ask yourself some maybe difficult questions, and you're going to be honest with yourself. And lastly, this workshop is for you, or for those of you who are focused on transformation, not just information, because let's be real, Google has way more information than I can provide. But what it can't offer you, and what Google cannot offer you, is transformation, how you can make a difference in your life today, something that you can take away, something concrete and practical that you can implement into your life and make a big difference. Okay, so this workshop is for you if any of these apply. So please, in the chat, type in transformation. If you're here for transformation, not just information. So just type in the chat, yes, I'm here for it, or transformation, just so I get that, confirmation that everyone here is, that this is for you and you're in the right place. So if I have anyone sharing that, that would be awesome. Yes, this is right for me. Amazing, Nancy and Marie. Yes, transformation. That's what we're here for. Great. So thank you for that. So let's first and foremost, talk about this term boss that we've included in the title of our workshop. B.O.S.S. Yes, it is an acronym that stands for something else. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. We're going to redefine and think about what it means to be a boss in a whole new way. And I'm actually curious to ask those of you here, what is the first, or what is a word that comes to mind when you think of the word boss? Okay. I would love to get your sense of like where you're at now. When you hear the word boss, like, what does it mean to you? Take charge, superior, a leader. Yes. In charge. Yes. You see, there's definitely some commonalities here. Leadership. Yeah, definitely. These are great, great words, descriptor words. And you guys are honestly not far off. And we're just actually going to expand on that. And so this is a great starting point, and I'm going to share with you now what this acronym, B.O.S.S really stands for, what a boss truly means. All right, you guys ready for this? So what a boss really is, or what it stands for, is a boss is someone who is brave. A boss is someone who is optimistic. A boss is someone who is self-aware. And a boss is someone who is self-confident. So that is what a boss truly is. They are brave, they're optimistic, they're self-aware, and they're self-confident. And so now that you know what a boss means, what are the characteristics that embody someone who is a boss, let's understand a little bit more about like, what does that really look like in your day to day? How do we embody that? So what is boss living? Boss living means someone who is confronting personal challenges and fears head on. You are a boss when you believe that your future only gets better, even when you don't have all the information at hand. A boss is someone who understands their habits, their tendencies, their values, and their beliefs, and does that to make decisions that not only improve their own life, but those of others around them. And a boss is someone who trusts their skills, their experience, their intelligence, their intuition to guide you to make the right decisions. So that is what being a boss, embodying a boss is like in your day to day. And I would love to share an example to me of someone who embodies all of these qualities is someone like, for me, Michelle Obama. She is someone who is always, tackling things head on. She is very self-aware. She is confident. She is optimistic. To me, she's a beautiful example of someone who really embodies what a boss really is and who a boss really is. So that is this new definition, this new way and perspective of looking about what a boss is. And I want to add here that if you've noticed, boss, it doesn't necessarily only pertain to a workplace or professional environment, right? This is someone who is embodying all these qualities in all aspects of their life. Okay, so that is the beauty of being a boss, is that it's not just in one scenario situation, it is in all aspects of your life. And that's what's so transformative about it. So anyone can be a boss. And I like several of you said here is in charge, is leadership. Yes, you are tackling things head on. So that is what a boss is. And now that you know what a boss means and what it really stands for, I want to now address, why all of us and why are you here today? Why did you decide to come to this workshop? What intrigued you? What caught your attention, right? Let's talk about, why you are here, truly. And perhaps it is because, to some degree, to some level, you are feeling a sense of burnout because perhaps you're feeling like, it seems like you're giving so much energy to just do the bare minimum. Or perhaps you're just feeling so exhausted and tired all the time. And even though you're getting plenty of rest, but that just never seems to be enough. Perhaps you're feeling some degree of burnout in that you are getting frustrated so easily or overwhelmed by even the smallest of tasks, which before seemed so easy to take care of, and now you just feel like it's out of control. Or perhaps too, you're just feeling, again, disengaged, not interested in things that you used to love in your relationships or in the work that you do. And perhaps you're feeling some of these things to some degree, right? And so I would love and ask you guys here, everyone in attendance, type in the chat, yes, I'm feeling some degree of this, perhaps. Like, yes, I've been feeling pretty worn out, recently for the last couple months. Or no, I've noticed that I am more disengaged from the relationships in my life or my work. I would love to know if anyone here has been just feeling some level or degree of burnout emotionally, physically, mentally. So if you feel comfortable sharing, please share that in the chat. Like, yes, I feel it, or I resonate. Yes, I've been feeling burnt out. Linda, yes. Sandra, yeah, burnt out, definitely. Yes, Emery, trouble focusing on tasks, definitely. That is a sign of something that can really happen. Yeah, recovering from the pandemic, right? Everyone, all of us. So yes, we all have been affected to some degree by burnout, and it looks different for all of us. But these are some of the things that perhaps are, you've been noticing creeping up. And that's the thing about burnout, is that it's not something that happens overnight. It's these symptoms build over time. And so it's something that we want to be mindful of and tackle, head on. But what I want to let you know is that, burnout, that could be your scenario right now, and you're trying to navigate through that, doing the best that you can. And I want to let you know that, what your future can look like and the opportunities and how this transformation can really happen for you, so that you feel like you're making progress in the right direction. Yeah, someone's sharing that you feel like you haven't accomplished that much or feeling the burnout for real. Yes, well, I want to tell you that there is a way to feel like you're making progress in the right direction. And so what your future can look like. So let me share with you what the possibilities are for everyone here. No matter where you are, you could be at a point in your future where you feel like you have just countless energy and that you are actually, wanting to take on new challenges and opportunities because you're saying, yes, I'm ready to embrace this world. You are perhaps in your future doing things that you actually find highly rewarding and just really fill your cup. Because right now, maybe that's not the case. Your future can be where you're feeling so excited and motivated, again, to try new things because you know what you're interested in, you know what you want, and you're going to go for it. And you can also, your future look like where you're feeling ready and prepared, again, to tackle whatever life brings. You're like, I'm here, I can handle it, nothing's going to stop me. So those are the possibilities in the future that we can go towards. And I'm going to, again, we're through this workshop, I'm going to share with you how we can do that together and how you can feel more fulfilled in your life and at work. So before I share that with you, though, I want to share with all of you here my story. Why am I here? Why am I talking to all of you about this, about being a boss, overcoming burnout? Like, what is my story? What has been my journey? So, my story is that about 2 years ago, yeah, 2.5 years ago now, I was sitting in this beautiful executive conference room with floor to ceiling glass windows overlooking the beautiful East Bay Mountains in California. And I was sitting in this boardroom and I'm looking at the empty seats around me. And I started to feel this kind of uncontrollable shaking across my body. And my breath, my breathing started to become more shallow. Felt like, there was just this tension building up and like I couldn't breathe. And all I kept thinking then in my mind was, I can't keep doing this anymore. Like, what am I doing with my life? Why am I here? And what I did was I just pushed away from the desk and I took a moment to breathe a little deeper, take a deep breath because I just felt like I wasn't breathing. And I stood up, closed my laptop, and went outside for a walk because I needed a breath of fresh air. I needed a moment to just decompress and really confront what was actually happening. And what was happening was that for months now, I had been struggling every day to get myself to work, pretend like I really cared about what I was doing and attending meetings and giving my best. And it was a horrible feeling because I had never felt that way before. I didn't know why I was feeling this way. And I got to the point where I just couldn't keep going. And 2 weeks after that scenario where I almost had a panic attack, I talked to my manager at the time and told him my reality, my situation. And I said, I am actually quitting my job because I can't keep going on like this. And this is not working out for me. I'm not doing well. And I share this story with you because that in my life, that was my, breaking point where I just reached a point where I didn't know what else to do. And I took this drastic step to say something needs to change. And I didn't know how else to change it, but to say, this is not working for me. And I'm going in a new path now, in a whole new direction. And fast forward 2 years later, I'm here in front of all of you giving this presentation, and I've built a business, a wellness coaching practice, sharing my story, sharing my journey, where I became a certified integrative nutrition health coach to help others overcome and prevent burnout that they're dealing with. And utilizing what I feel so passionate and drawn to and called to do to help others. And yes, it was a huge, scary turning point, and it got to that point where I just couldn't ignore it any longer. But I'm now living probably one of the most fulfilling chapters of my life, where I'm doing what I love doing and sharing what is significant and important to me and what has changed my life with others and changing their lives. So life can really transform for you. And it all happened because I made one decision where I was afraid to confront my truth. And instead I said, you know what? No, I'm going to do something about it, even though I don't know what's to come. But I have this optimistic view that things are going to get better for me and that I'm going to figure it out. And that was my leap. of saying this career, this journey that I was going on was not what I saw for myself. And I was going to go in a whole new direction. So that has been my story. And this is where I am today. And I'm so happy and excited. And I love doing the work that I do. And I've built this business and transformed people's lives. And that's my story, where I am energized and I feel so healthy. And I'm so just grateful for the life that I'm leading. So I've shared again, that's my story. That's where I'm here today. And I want to ask those of you who are here, who relates to my journey in some degree? Where in this journey do you feel like, wow, Jocelyn, I felt the same way, where you feel like you just I can't give anymore, or I don't know what else to do. Like, who do I turn to? How do I, make a change in my life, right? Where it's scary because, yeah, you don't know what's to come and it looks different for all of us. But we've all perhaps felt that way at some point where you think, what am I doing here? Why am I feeling this way? What do I do? How do I change? Right? Yes, feeling stuck right now. Nancy, yes. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being open. Yes, we've all been there, to some degree or another, is saying we are in this journey and no one is alone. And what I want you to know, actually, for everyone here, is kind of like what I shared, is what I want you to know, and I hope it offers some reassurance, is that moment, that pivotal moment for you, is only one decision away. In other words, it's only going to take one conversation, whether it be with a spouse, with a partner, with a manager, with someone, you're only one decision away from stepping into your most fulfilling and empowered you. And that is only one step. That is not very far. That's not hard. It's one decision. So you are all very capable. And at any moment, you can make that decision to say, I'm going to make a change happen in my life. So now that you know you're only one decision away from transforming your life and stepping into your most fulfilling and rewarding chapter and healthy chapter of your life, I want to share with you what are some of the most common mistakes that I see people make and that I've made that were keeping me stuck and in this place of just perpetual and consistent burnout, and where you are just taking yourself down this path that is going to be more and more difficult to get out of. So what are the three most common mistakes? Number one, one of the most common mistakes that I see, and that again I've made all of these, is that is contributing to your burnout, is waiting for the right time. So an example of this, or a story, is saying, well, once I, have saved this amount of money, then I'm going to start my own business, or start my own side gig. Or saying, oh, once I'm settled down and found my own home, or once I've found a partner, then I'm going to now consider switching careers. Or it could be as simple as, hey, once I've finished this project at work, I'm going to start going back to the gym. It can be very, very simple. And this mistake of waiting for the right time, I'm going to tell you, unfortunately, there is no right time. The right time is the time that you choose. There is no right time that's going to come around magically and you're just going to say like, oh, that is the right time. No, the right time never comes around. You choose when the right time is for you. And there's no excuses. You just say, I choose today. Is it going to be one day, or is it going to be day one for me? Yes, I choose today's going to be day one of me now taking better care of myself. Today is going to be day one of me really figuring out how I'm going to build a career that I really enjoy and pursue my graphic design, my interest in graphic design, right? So that is the first mistake that is contributing to your burnout, to this fatigue, to this exhaustion, to this lack of just fulfillment. is because you're waiting for the right time, but the right time, again, is the day that you choose. It is day one. So that's mistake number one. Mistake number two that is contributing to your burnout, to your fatigue, to your frustration is focusing on perfection. So an example of this is saying, you know what? Unless I'm working out, just making this up, 5 times a week, no, it's not right. Or great example, this presentation, no, until this presentation has this kind of font, has these kind of, adaption, interactions, and it looks a certain way, I'm not going to present. No, until it looks this way, or until this happens, the should, like it has to be this way. If you hear yourself using that word, that vocabulary, it has to be this way, that is an indicator right there that you're focusing on perfection, where you're not allowing yourself for other opportunities to present themselves along the way. Because let me tell you, this presentation has been through so many iterations. And if you knew what my first presentation looked like to what it's now, let me tell you, you'd be amazed. There's still things that I feel like I can improve in the look and the font. Oh, that doesn't look like how I want it to. But if I let that stop me from giving these presentations and stepping up, I would not be allowing for the opportunities to learn and get the feedback that I need to make this even better and more impactful. So that is the second mistake, is focusing on perfection, right? And again, that key thing to notice is whenever in your life you hear yourself like, oh, it has to be this way. Mental note, that is an indicator to invite yourself to say, why does it have to be this way? What am I not being flexible here? For the opportunities that I could be having and accepting to help me be better, to help make a bigger impact. So that is the second mistake that is contributing to your burnout, to again, that frustration, that fatigue, is because you feel like you have to do things a certain way, and that's not the case. Nothing has to be done in any way. There is a lot more flexibility and adaptability that you can be allowing in. So that's the second mistake. The third mistake that is contributing to your burnout is going at it alone. And truth be told, I find this to be particularly prevalent with women, where we feel like we have to do it all, right? We're emboldened to say, like, I can do this, I can be a mother, and I can do a full-time career, and I can be a great partner, and I can do everything. But that's not leaning on others for support is wearing you out. And there are people, trust me when I say, there are people who want to help you, because people love helping others. And we do not have to go at it alone. You do not have to say, this is all on me. That is not the case. I think a really simple and beautiful example of that is, in my story that I shared, where I was struggling so much because I didn't tell anyone how I was feeling. I didn't talk to my manager. I could have talked to my manager way ahead of time, like months before, and said, hey, I'm not doing so great. I'm not feeling so engaged. And I want to, can we have a conversation? I need some help and assistance with that, because I want to do better. Right. And instead, I just let it carry me to this breaking point where I could have reached out sooner. And I don't want that happening for anyone else. So you can you can talk to your manager, you can talk to colleagues, you can talk to friends, family. Trust me, there are people in your community that are around you who want to help. And so don't go at it alone, because that is only contributing to the exhaustion that you feel. Again, the frustration, the tiredness. So that is the third mistake that's keeping you stuck. And now I want to ask everyone here, I've shared those three mistakes, and I want to ask you, please type in the chat, where do you feel like you're stuck? Where do you feel, which one of these? Is it waiting for the right time? Is it focusing on perfection? Is it number 3, going at it alone? Where do you feel like you're stuck? and that you're like, oh gosh, be true, be honest with yourself. Like, oh, it's this. I'm just waiting for that right time, Jocelyn. Or man, I haven't talked to anyone about this. I've been feeling this way for a long time, but I haven't leaned on anyone. Yes, we have a couple of people focusing on perfection. Yeah, the right time. Focusing, yes, waiting for the right time. More of the two than the last one. Yes, the first two. Again, trust me, I've done all of these. And perhaps you're doing multiple of these at a time, right? Focusing on perfection. Yes. Yes. Right. But now you know. So this is great. This is wonderful. That awareness, we're building this awareness, right? The boss is self-aware. You recognize, you say, like, you are true with yourself. You're honest with yourself, like, yeah, that's a hard truth to hear. Like, okay, yeah, I am waiting for the right time. I am focusing on perfection, or no, I'm not. I haven't reached out to anyone and I could. Okay. So now you have this piece of information. And so now that you know that, I'm going to share with you 3 principles that are going to help you, again, prevent burnout, prevent you from going deeper into burnout, and are actually going to start transforming and shifting, your life into a space where you can step into your boss self, into your brave, optimistic, self-aware, and self-confidence. Okay? So let's move on to those 3 principles that are going to help you step into fulfillment, into joy, into health, and into your boss self. So, first principle is turning your goals into values. What do I mean by this? For example, a lot of you might have a goal that is, hey, Jocelyn, I want to be a team manager or department manager by the end of the year. That's a goal that you set for yourself. And what I'd like to ask and invite you to ask yourself is, why? Why do you want to be a department head or a team manager by the end of the year? What is the true significance or importance of that goal for you? Like, why did you write it down? Ask yourself that question. And then let's say I ask you, yeah, why is that? Why do you want to be a team manager by the end of the year? And you say, well, actually, it's because I really enjoy developing people. I really enjoy helping others develop themselves professionally and personally. Great. Awesome. We're digging deeper into what you value, why it's important for you. Okay. And that's just one layer. You can dig deeper into, like, well, why is developing people important to you? You can keep going deeper and deeper, and it's going to go closer to the root of what you value. And if we're going to take this first layer of what you are valuing is, I love helping develop people professionally and personally, then it's saying, okay, so now we can say, well, there's so many ways you can do that, right? You don't have to be a manager or department head by the end of the year in order to help others develop professionally and personally. You can do volunteer activities at a career center, right? Development center. There's so many ways that you can exercise your values. It doesn't have to be just this way. So the beauty of transforming your goals into values and understanding, again, the importance and the root as to why it matters to you is that it allows the flexibility for you to, again, invite other opportunities to fulfill and to exercise your values. And it doesn't pigeonhole you to one specific outcome, because that's a lot of times what goals are. They just tie us to a specific outcome, which right now is, I want to be team manager by end of year. That is the only outcome that you have created for yourself. So if it doesn't happen, if you don't become team manager by end of year, you're going to feel like you failed, and that you're a failure, and that you didn't achieve anything, when that is not the case, right? When you understand that what you truly value is developing people, and you say that that is my goal, is to help develop others professionally and personally, you can now say, hey, there's so many avenues in which I can exercise that. And it doesn't have to be just this one way, because circumstances change, people change, situations change. And that's why focusing on your values instead, is going to allow you to feel like you're making progress in the right way, in the right direction, and not feel frustrated or, again, unaccomplished in your life. So that is the first principle. Again, turning your goals into your values and being very clear on that. And again, how to do that is ask yourself why. And I encourage you to ask yourself not just once, but if you can, ask yourself 5 times. Those goals that you have written down for yourself, go back to them, look at them and say, okay, Jocelyn, why did you write this? And write your new sentence, and then ask yourself why. Okay, why does it matter to me? And keep going. And you're going to get to the root, and it's going to open up so many windows for you. Great. So that is the first principle. The second principle is understanding that self-care is self-confidence. So what do I mean by this? Is that if you don't feel well, right? If you're barely able to get yourself out of bed, if you keep falling sick all the time, if you just are feeling, your body is stiff, you're lethargic, if you're just not feeling well constantly, you're not going to feel very confident to take a leap and take on new challenges, right? You're going to say, you're just not going to have the energy, the motivation, the ambition to take on new opportunities that are exciting for you. So what you have to understand is that taking care of yourself builds your confidence, because it makes you more attuned to what you really need. And so to an example of that is saying, when you start to confront this reality and say wow, I'm not, I'm just sitting in front of my computer all day, every day. I feel like I'm not moving. I'm stiff all the time. I just feel like I need to get a little more movement in my day to day. Great. You listen to that and you say, I'm going to start just going for a walk around the block during my 30-minute lunch break, right? After I finish my meal, I'm just going to walk around the block and come back. Fantastic. And as you start listening to yourself and your needs and understanding what those are, trust me, that carries out into all the other parts of your life. In that self-awareness that you're building with yourself and caring for yourself and what you really need to make yourself feel better, then when you're tackling a situation at work or elsewhere, you're going to say yeah, I have the confidence to know, hey, how to handle this situation, because you're feeling good. You feel good about who you are, where you're at, and you're going to feel that much more confident to tackle any other challenges that come your way. So that is the second principle, is understanding that self-care, taking care of yourself, understanding your needs, and making that a priority is only going to build your confidence. So that is number 2. And then finally, number 3, third principle to help you step into your boss life is understanding that you need to make your dreams greater than your fears. And I know this is probably one of the most difficult ones to confront, but it's so critical. And a great example of this is when I decided to, again, start my own business. It's saying, you know what? I'm afraid because no, I don't know if it's going to be successful or not. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, sustain myself. I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know how to get started. But saying, you know what? These fears that I'm not good enough, or that I'm not smart enough, or that I'm not worthy, all of those fears, you have to choose at some point to say, you know what? I'm putting you on the sidelines. You're not going to control my life any longer. You're no longer the VP, the MVP player taking the shots. No, no, no. You are now I'm going to tell you, those fears don't go away. But when you say, hey, Mr. Most Valuable Player in Fear, you're going to the sidelines. I'm now taking, ownership and stepping in, stepping up. you are just going to realize, wow, I've done this for myself and I can do this again. Because let me tell you, when you've done it one time very consciously and say, these fears are not going to dictate my life, trust me, it gets easier and easier to do. It never stops being scary, but you now know you can do it. You can say, hey, I've told that fear that I'm not worthy or that I'm not good enough or that I'm going to be alone forever. I've I've put that aside in the past and moved on. I can do this again. So that is the third principle that is going to allow you to step into your boss life. Is saying, you know what, my dreams are way more important than those fears. They're not going to control my life anymore. I'm going to say, I'm taking ownership. My dream of being a business owner someday, or my dream of owning my own home, or my dream of having kids, or my dream of, whatever it may be, that is more important to me. That is way more valuable than my fear of saying, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm going to be alone. So that is the third principle to help you step into your most confident and fulfilled self, into your boss life. So those are the three principles. And I would love to know from everyone here, I've talked for quite some time. I would love to know from everyone in the audience, which principle resonates most with you? Is it number one? Is it number two? Is it number three? Is it the first one of saying, hey, I need to understand and turn my goals into values. I can't be pigeonholing myself to one outcome. Is it the second where you're saying, wow, yes, I need to take better care of myself to really feel like I have the confidence to take on these really exciting things and dreams that I want to take on? Yes, I love it. Some people say number one and two, and number three. Yes. Or is it saying self-care is self-confidence? Yes. It's saying I need to take care of myself. I need to be aware of my needs, because when I'm aware, hyper aware of who I am and what I need, I know how to tackle on the rest. A bit of all, yes, of course, definitely. I'm so glad. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. Yeah, all of these, right, are applicable to some extent or another. And so now that you know the three principles to stepping into your most fulfilling and healthy life and stepping into your boss self, into your brave, optimistic self-aware and self-confidence, now I'm asking, are you ready to step into that? And if you're like, heck yeah, Jocelyn, I want to know how to do that. What is that step? What is the methodology? Let me know. Then please write in the chat, heck yeah, I'm ready. Give it to me, girl. What is it? I want to know. Type in the chat, like ready for it. Oh, bring it. Yes. Or like boss life, here I come. Like I'm ready. Please share that. Ready, let's go. Yes. I was like, what is it? Yes. Ready for, I'm going to share with you a holistic framework for you to understand how you can take tangible and practical steps to stepping into your boss self. Yes, love to see it. Wonderful, amazing. Love the enthusiasm. Thank you, everyone. And if you have a little pen or paper, take it out, write it down, because this is the framework that you're going to use and that I've used in my life. I come to it time and time again. Whenever I'm feeling stuck, this is the framework that you can apply to anything. Okay, and I mean anything, any part where you're feeling stuck, this is the framework you're going to use. So I'm going to give you guys a second. If you need it, if you want to grab a piece of paper and a pen, I'm going to drink one more sip of water. Okay, so are you ready? Yes, love it. Let's see it. Let's go. Let's do this. So here is the holistic empowerment framework. So step number one, as we shared, this framework pulls from those mistakes and those principles, is creating those value-based goals. So let's distinguish here, what is the difference between the means and the end, right? Those goals that you have right now, look back at those, wherever you write them down. Is it in a journal? Do you have them on a wall? Look back at those goals that you have set for yourself, that you've written down, and start asking the why. Again, at least 5 times. 3, if 5 seems like too many, or if you feel like you've already gotten to the root of the value and the significance, the importance of it. 3, but hopefully 5. Why this goal matters to you. Why is it important? Why is it fulfilling? What does it complete? What does it give you? What does it bring you? That is the first step. And that takes care of your mindset, because now we're going to be shifting. How can I see my goals in a whole new way? Right? That is the first step, is reshifting your mindset to saying, I can look at this in a whole new way, right? That is now based on my values and not on a specific outcome or result. So that's the first step, is the mindset and transforming that. The second step is talking about routine. And this routine part is about taking action and establishing those mindful self-care practices that actually reflect and support your new value-based goals. So what do I mean by this? So if one of your goals was, I want to work out 5 times a week consistently. And then you went back to that goal, and you're like, why is this important to me? What is the value that this brings to me? Why does it make me feel good? And you found out after doing the first step, it said, it's because, and your new goal is, I want to feel strong and confident in my body, because that's what you enjoy. You want to feel strong and confident. Great, that's your new goal. Now the mindful self-care practice is saying, what is the action that I need to take in order to support this? What can I do to help me feel stronger and more confident in my body? It doesn't have to be working out 5 times a week, right? That could be simply saying, hey, I am going to go to or join a volleyball meetup group because it's so much fun, right? And it helps me feel stronger, more confident in myself. Awesome, right? It doesn't have to be going to the gym 5 times a week. It could also be, what makes me feel stronger and more confident in my body is, for example, oh, I love doing yoga, right? Fantastic. Then do some yoga, right? But it's establishing those actions that are going to support your value-based goal. And so that is going to support it and reinforce it. And that is the routine, the habit that you're going to create to succeed in this new frame of mind that you're in. Okay, so that is step number 2, is really being mindful about that new frame of mind that you have and saying, what action am I going to take to support my new mindset? And then step number 3 in this framework is your network. Okay, step number 3 is what we talked about. One of the mistakes, right, is what you need to do is now reach out to someone in your environment, in your pool of network, and say, hey, I need to let you know that this is something that I'm now doing. Talk to someone, let them know, hey, one thing I'm committed to this year is feeling stronger and more confident in my body. Amazing. And what I'm going to do is I'm now joined a volleyball meetup, which I go to once a week because I love doing it and it makes me feel stronger and more confident in my body. Hey, do you know of a great group, a great volleyball group, like that I know that you go to? Let's say it's a colleague. I know you go to meetups. Do you know of one that's for volleyball that you'd recommend? Right? Or, hey, your spouse, hey, I know we were wanting to do things more things together. Could we go together? Or can you check in on me and say, hey, Jocelyn, are you going to the volleyball meetup this weekend? I know that's something that's really important to you, right? Talk to someone, let them know what you're doing. Let them know what your new intention is and what you're doing about it, because that is going to help you get the accountability that you need, right? And another example would be, okay, I'm someone, right, who's always at a computer all day long, and what I want is to have more movement in my life. Okay, and my goal is to go out on a walk every day, for example. That's the second, mindful self-care practice. I'm going to go on a walk every day. And you know that your neighbor, you see them walking by every single day, every morning, and they go out on a walk. What can you do for this third step? Reach out to your neighbor and say like, hey, Susie, I just wanted to talk to you for a second. I think it's awesome that you go on a walk every single day. One of my goals is to have more movement in my life, and I want to start walking every day or 3 times a week. Could I join you, on your walk every Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Or you can also say, could you send me a text when you're out on your walk so that I am feel motivated and inspired to go on my own walk if, the times don't coincide? But oh, I love it, Brittany. I said that is great. I go roller skating once a week. Yes, but talk to someone, let them in, because I kid you not, you're gonna feel more accountable when there's someone that is, has your back and is trying to help you and support you, and that builds relationships. That makes your relationship stronger. So those are the 3 steps, the holistic empowerment framework that's going to help you get unstuck. You can literally apply this to anything. Wherever you feel stuck, start with that mindset. What is your goal? What is it that right now in your mind you think has to be done? Convert that to a value. Second step, say, what is the action that I need to take to support my new mindset? And then number 3, saying, who am I going to talk to help me stay accountable? Right? Who's going to support me? Say, check in on me like, hey, Jocelyn, did you actually take your lunch today? Because I don't take lunches anymore because I just go straight through my workday and never take a lunch. But instead, I asked my colleague, I keep using the word Susie or the name Susie. I asked Susie, hey, can you check in on me every day at 12:30 and ask, hey, did you take your lunch break? And if I'm like, oh, shoot, I didn't. Thanks for checking in. I will now. Great. Amazing. So that is the framework, the mindset, the routine, the network. And what I like to say is when you've done all of these, you get that into that boss zone. You're building that bravery, the optimism, the self-awareness, and the self-confidence when you're doing all of these. So this is the holistic empowerment framework. And so I'm going to leave it up here for one more moment so you can all either draw out the circle, do whatever you need, but use this for wherever you're stuck in your life right now. Wherever you're feeling a little frustrated, or very frustrated, or tired, exhausted, and you just feel like, I don't know what else to do, go through these steps. I kid you not, you're going to get unstuck, but you have to do every single one. There's no skipping out. Because I will also say that if you notice that you're feeling frustrated and you feel like it's not going well, it's perhaps because we're missing one of these key pieces and pillars. All of them go in tandem. And once you break through, you have your breakthrough and you are like, wow, I crushed it. That worked out great. Fantastic. Something else is going to come up and you can use this framework yet again. So that is your holistic empowerment framework to help you live your boss life in life and at work. And I want you all to know now that your next steps of what you can do after this is please go visit my website. I offer everyone here in the audience a free 30-minute clarity call. And in this clarity call, what we're going to do is we're going to get hyper clear on what your value-based goals are. So come prepared. I'm going to actually type it in the chat. Wellness.com. There we go. I typed in my website, jocelynwellness.com. You can book. There's a button right there that says book your empowerment call right there. And it will take you to a calendar to book your 30-minute free session. And so we're going to go together through this framework. We're going to start with those goals and be like, Jocelyn, I need help understanding what it is that I actually really want and intend, because these goals seem to just, again, I just feel like I'm not accomplishing anything, or I keep getting stuck. Let's get clear. Let's get you out of that space of being stuck and say, how can we get clear on your values and go through this framework together so that you know how to take care of it moving forward. So again, I put my website on the chat. So it's just jocelynwellness.com. Go there right now, book your free 30-minute call. And I want to help you continue this journey into your most fulfilling and boss chapter of your life, where you know that you are making progress in the way that you want, and that you're going to feel so fulfilled and happy with yourself because you're doing everything in your hands to say, this is the life I want to lead. Okay. So again, it's on there, and that essentially wraps up this presentation. We have a couple minutes left, but I just want to say thank you to everyone here. Thank you, bosses, everyone here. You are all already a boss, right? You've all, believe it or not, have done boss things, brave things in your life, and you're only going to do more. Trust me. So that's the framework. Please, again, reach out to me also, Jocelyn at jocelynwellness.com. Or again, my website, jocelynwellness.com, where you can book a free 30-minute call for us to hop on a call together and go through this framework, because I just want to support all of you here. I'm so grateful. Yes, thank you for this. Thank you for the support and your participation. I absolutely love doing these workshops.